everyone, welcome to How Ines Rolls. Today I'm going to be showing you 3 very easy recipes that you can take to friends' houses or to give to your family. 3 very easy no-bake desserts that include the ingredient of peppermint. Let's get started. So it's that time of year. We're taking things to people's houses. We are having extra treats out. Sometimes it's an evening. You're like, what should we do as a family? Here are some super easy recipes for those occasions, because who doesn't love peppermint? I mean, don't tell me if you don't, but I do. I love it. And peppermint with chocolate mint things are like my fave. So if that's your jam, we're gonna get started. The first off we're going to make is a super easy peppermint bark. For this recipe, you'll need 2.5 cups of white chocolate chips, 2 cups of dark chocolate chips, a 1/2 cup of crushed up peppermint or candy canes. This is about 7 regular sized. And you're gonna need some peppermint extract. Totally easy. So first off, we're going to start melting the chocolate, the dark chocolate first at about, we're gonna use the microwave. So I'm gonna cut the temperature in half by turning down the power, and I'll show you. If you have a 9-inch baking dish, you can use that, or a like a quarter-size cooking sheet. I don't have either of those. I have an 8-inch, but I don't want to make the bark so thick. So I'm just going to use a regular cookie sheet and just kind of make sure I go, not too far out, more than half. So I'm going to make it as thin as possible, but still give it a little bit of substance. So after every 30, I like to do 33 seconds. That's just kind of how I do it. But just kind of give it a little turn until it's all melted through. So now my chocolate is nice and melted through. It only took about 2 minutes at half the temperature on the microwave. So just kind of watch it because you don't want it to burn. And now we're going to add the 1/4 teaspoon of peppermint extract. Just a little bit. And I'm just going to add that in, and then we're going to spread it around on this baking sheet. Like I said, it's supposed to be about 9 by 9 or so. So I'm not trying to spread it over the whole amount. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball that. But ooh, yes, this is smelling so good. Let me know in the comments if you're a fan of chocolate and mint put together. I'll bring you closer too. So we're just going to spread this around, and you could use definitely parchment paper is highly recommended. You could use wax, it said, but I tend to like the foil because then I could just take it all out and break it up. So I'm just going to spread this out as much as I'd like. Now, keeping in mind 9 by 9. And then we're going to put it into the freezer for about 10 minutes and then do the next layer, the white. I think that's good. So I've taken out the chocolate from the freezer, and now I'm melting, so easy, the white chocolate chips. And then this one actually has a little bit more chocolates in it, so this layer should be a little bit thicker than what we already have. And then we're just going to spread that around. So easy and smells so good. So now we're just going to take the 1/2 cup of, we don't need that part. The 1/2 cup of candy canes and just sprinkle it on the top. And you guys, this was about 7 candy canes. So 7 regular sized. Yum. Now you can put as much or as little as you would like. I kind of like seeing the large chunks of candy cane in this. All right, I'm not even going to use it all. And because you have to let it set, I'm going to try to give it a little bit of a press. Just so those bigger chunks can set into the chocolate. Ooh, yum. Now back into the freezer. This goes for about 10 more minutes. So this does not take very long at all. And now it's time to cut it. So you can cut it into tiny squares or even little triangles. You could probably just let it shatter on the countertop if it's pretty frozen. However you want to do it. I think I'm going to just cut them into triangles. Oh gosh, or maybe I'm just going to break it. Okay, because I put mine in the freezer, it's so much harder to break it apart. But you can see I got some good chunks out of this one. I'm just going to let it come a little bit on the counter to room temperature, but looks good. That's really good. Okay, I am going to be making my next recipe, another no bake, and you're going to need these ingredients, the Chex. I have some peppermint flavored chocolate chips. I have powdered sugar and peanut butter and candy canes. I'm kind of chuckling because peanut butter and candy canes. So this is like a Muddy Buddies. It's the chocolate peppermint Chex mix, but we like to call them Muddy Buddies. So in my bowl here, I have a cup of mint chocolate chips, some butter, quarter cup, and a half a cup of peanut butter. And we're just going to melt it like we did with the chocolate chips earlier. And in that bowl right here, 8 cups of cereal, which is about that whole box. Pretty easy. Then that box is about 12, I think it says 12 ounces. Yes, that box is 12 ounces. So this is gonna be really fast. While that's all melting, I got 7 of the candy canes and smashed them up. So it made a half a cup, remember that from the last recipe. And then I added a cup of powdered sugar. So this is gonna stay in a bag off to the side while we get that going. When that mixture's all done, we're just mixing it into the cereal. Make sure it's well coated and I'll show you. So my mixture is all nicely melted through. Now I used a white chocolate mint chip, so to say. So if you can find chocolate ones, that I think might even be even better. So if you can't find of the peppermint mints ones, that's okay. Stick with chocolate. Chocolate is so good with on the Muddy Buddies. So kind of hoping this all works out. This is my first time using the white chocolate. So I'm just adding a teaspoon of the peppermint extract. And then we're just gonna pour this over the cereal. And then I'm gonna add another like 6 or so crushed up candy canes. And then sprinkle it on top before I start mixing it through. The peanut butter works so good as a binder for this recipe. I don't think you could ever really omit it because it needs it. Now we're gonna quickly put that chopped up candy cane in there and then get the powdered sugar going. I'll bring you closer. Then this is the best part. So I just put it on a cookie sheet. I've lined it with some saran wrap or something like that. And then I'm just going to pour it out, making sure all of that sugar gets on to the top. And that's it, you guys. It is done. And it is really, you just kind of leave it out on the counter and then it slowly like starts to disappear. It's really good. Nice and pepperminty. There is a little undertone to the peanut butter, but it needs to be there to bind it. So good, you guys. So my next recipe will be Peppermint Oreo Truffles, and it is also a no bake. And the ingredients are a block of cream cheese, a bag of Oreos, which are 36, and then a bag and a half of white chocolate chips. and I'm gonna crush up a few more candy canes. So we're gonna make this a peppermint version of this recipe. So I also do need my peppermint extract. Now remember, all of these recipes are going to be linked below so you can go to them quickly. So I'm just gonna get started by adding the cream cheese, which has been softened all morning, which makes it a lot easier when you're blending. And I'm just adding 1.5 teaspoons of our peppermint extract. And I'm gonna work that in together, and then I'm going to add all the crushed Oreos. So easy. Like I said, super easy to mix through. I just used a hand mixer, made it a lot easier. So I'm just adding now the Oreos, and I'm just gonna blend this together and start rolling them out. So you want to have this consistency of like chunky tar. Don't worry, it's gonna be really good. So I use this metal, this wooden spatula kind of spoon. Worked really good with helping me to mix in all the pieces. So we're just going to put now on a lined freezer or baking sheet. We're gonna put some of these balls into the freezer. So we're just going to make them about bite-size-ish. You can make them up to a tablespoon, but I kind of think smaller is better, because have you ever been to a party and somebody's like trying to eat a bigger one and it's like, yeah. So you want to avoid some of those moments if you're putting them out for like a get together. So smaller, so they could just pop the whole thing. Super good. So just kind of like so. Let's do this. Here they are. They are going back into the freezer for about 15 minutes, and then I'll start prepping the white chocolate and melt it down. But they are looking good. Well, maybe they don't look that good, but I mean, it tastes good. I had a little sample. Okay, I've melted the chocolate just like I've done with the other two recipes, very easily, very slowly, and now I'm ready to dunk. So these came out of the freezer. Just putting them in and just letting the chocolate run off as much as possible. And then you're gonna put them back onto the cookie sheet, where you'll put some candy cane on it, some bits of candy cane. Yum. You guys, look at these yummies. Oh man, these look so good. So I'm just letting it set. This one over here, my first one, is probably ready because they're frozen, so it's just cooling down the chocolate. I ran out. I just had one last lone one. So guess I might have to just eat that one as is. So, ooh, look at how good these are. Time to sample. So good. Oh man. I think these ones are my favorite. They do take a little more time. So worth it. And that's it, you guys. I just showed you 3 super easy Christmas go-to, no-bake recipes that have mint in it. So let me know in the comments if you've made any of these recipes before, if you think that you'll make these recipes, or do you just love chocolate and mint? I should go like this. Thanks for stopping by the channel. Give this video a thumbs up and stick around, rollers. You just never know what I'll be rolling out next. Bye, everyone.